We are thrilled to have the head coach of the Aztecs, Rocky Long, joining us live. Coach, we couldn't appreciate it more. We know it's already your second appearance with our station today. We love it. So, listen, we were just sitting here talking out this game, and I wonder how you guys as a staff navigate making decisions with play calling and who's in and who's out in a game where you guys are clearly superior. So I was just talking about maybe a few more carries. Rashad Penny gets 300 yards. His name gets out there nationally even more. How did you guys navigate those decisions?
Normally when we have the game won, in our opinion that it's not going to be close, we try to get as much experience for younger players as we can get. I think 234 or 5 yards gets you national recognition just as much as 300 might. In our case, we're trying to we still got a little chance for the championship. We're still trying to make sure everybody's healthy for the run at the end, and there's no reason to pour it on a team in college football if you don't have to.
And player rest, obviously very important down the stretch of a season. You guys had 10 straight games before reaching your bye week, week 11, and then you have this homestand, play Nevada and New Mexico, finishing up the season. And like you said, still a shot to play in championship games. Rocky, when I look at this season and I think about all the opportunities you've had to evaluate your depth of this roster in real live game situations, is that a benefit moving forward in a large way? And is it a boon to the program overall? Because now you kind of know what you got for the next bunch of years.
Well, I mean, since we've been able to play some of the younger guys and we see them in practice every day, and we'll use this bye week that way, we'll practice for our last two games, but we'll also practice a lot of the young guys. We might even scrimmage the young guys after Thursday's practice for a half an hour or so. It gives you a chance to evaluate. It gives you a chance to see what kind of team you're going to have going into spring practice. I think we got a lot of young talent in our program. I think the offensive line is going to be pretty good next year, and maybe the year after that might be the best offensive line they've had around here for a long, long time. So that's just one position. We're continuing to evaluate the other position, but there's pretty good depth in the younger classes.
Coach Rocky Long joining us. So, Coach, you even said a couple of weeks ago you guys had lost a couple in a row, and you said if we knew what was going on, we would fix it. But something certainly changed and got fixed. You guys found your mojo. What do you think it was? What happened there a couple of weeks ago?
Well, I think that we found a little more energy. You know, obviously we've talked to them and explained to them the way we thought things were. From a coach's point of view, I think we got a little more concentration, a little more energy in practice. I think they went into the game maybe a little bit more relaxed and a little better prepared and excited about playing. You know, it's easy to play when people aren't putting a lot of pressure on you from the outside. I don't think we handled that outside pressure very well when we had a chance to. That's an immature young football team that's learning how to get things going, and right now we're playing pretty good. Now, we didn't play as good a competition the last couple of weeks either.
You know, Coach, you were just talking about how the boys are going to be working pretty hard this week up until at least Thursday. I imagine you give them some time off this weekend. I'm curious about your plans for the bye week. You got any? You going on a cruise anywhere? You going to be at a tropical destination outside of San Diego? What are you doing?
Well, I wish that was the case, but that's not true. In fact, I'm the only one in the office right now. All our coaches, instead of meeting yesterday and get ready for the next game, all our coaches took off on the road yesterday to do some recruiting today. We'll do some recruiting tomorrow morning. They'll be back for practice. We're going to practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Our coaches will go back out on the road Thursday night after practice. I'm going to go to a high school game Friday and probably Saturday night. So we're still working. We don't have a game this week, but we're still working for the future of the program.
Coach Rocky Long. So, listen, you mentioned there are still opportunities here. The season's got a lot of stuff left, and you know that Mountain West Conference Championship is not necessarily out of reach. If you were to face Boise State again, do you feel like it could be different? What would you do differently?
Well, obviously, I think it can be different. I think that the last game was very close. The score might not be, but the last game was very, very close, except for we gave up a punt return, and our quarterback tried to throw a pass that ended up being a fumble that they picked up and ran back. I mean, the game could have been 17-14, which is a 3-point game. Anytime it's that close, you have a chance to win if you get another shot. Now, I hope we get another shot. It's still mathematically possible, but that means that we have to win the last two, and Fresno has to lose 2 out of the last 3. So we'll see how that works.
Hey, Coach, over the course of my playing career, I'm aware that after a bye week or even during it, coaches get an opportunity to slow everything down and do a lot of self-evaluation and then come to certain players or even entire groups, the offense, the defense, the special teams, and point out things they've been doing really well and point out things they haven't been, and then make those correctable decisions moving forward. As you take stock of this season, even though it's a late bye week, what do you think is the best thing this team's doing and potentially the worst thing this team's doing?
Well, the best thing that we're doing, I think, is our offensive line is getting healthier and they're performing better as they get healthier. I think that's the best thing we're doing. Obviously, we're running the ball. The last 2 weeks we've run the ball really, really well, and we know we have good running backs. But the offensive line had struggled against the 2 teams before that. Now, some of it is the caliber of the competition, but I think our offensive line is getting healthier and feeling better about what they're doing. I don't think we're getting the kind of results for the negative part. I don't think we're getting the kind of results in the kicking game that we would like. I mean, our field goal kicker's doing a nice job. We're covering kickoffs just okay. We haven't had much of a chance to return a kickoff, but when we haven't done a real good job of that. Now, our punt returns have been pretty good. Our average per punt's not real good either, so I think we have to improve on the kicking game.
Coach, look, there's a lot that can still happen. We were just talking about that. To what level are you guys even keeping an eye on your downtime, if you have any, on the American Athletic Conference and those 3 teams over there that are either undefeated or have 1 loss? Only one of them can pop out. How do you compare that conference to the Mountain West? I mean, do you think that a New Year's 6 is still a possibility and deserved?
I think the 2 leagues are very comparable. I don't think that's a possibility unless if one of those teams in that conference goes undefeated. I think it's a done deal. Otherwise, I think that maybe someone in our conference, if you're the champion of the conference, that might be a possibility. But I think there's some East Coast bias that way, too. I think that the people that decide those things are kind of prejudiced toward the East Coast, and especially if they're in the South, where football is king and football is like a religion. If they're a team from the South that has that possibility, I think they would get the nod.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff. Hey, Coach, really appreciate you jumping back on. And congrats on getting things back on track and a nice season so far.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.